I hate Goku. Not this Goku, or even this Goku, but this Goku right here. It's like his whole persona was foreshadowed by Vegeta.
You idiot!
I'll be the first to admit, Goku has never been the Einstein of the Dragon Ball world, but his character arc in Super seems to have took a mental nosedive. It may partially be due to the overall tone shift in Super, which we'll touch on later on in the video, but in regards to the character of Goku, if we think back over his main character traits previously established in Dragon Ball Z, I think most of us would agree with the following. He's always had like a happy and light-hearted roots with an air of innocence and naivety around him. But if we delve a little bit deeper, there is a little bit of selfishness in regards to his main motivations throughout the series. And when I say selfish, many will immediately say Goku is never selfish. But I don't mean in the evil sense of a character like, for example, Frieza or early Vegeta. I mean in a more general sense. His main, if not sole focus throughout the whole kind of series is loving to fight and becoming stronger, even if that means ditching out on his like responsibilities as like a husband or a father. But as a whole, I'd say that his main character traits, even the slightly negative aspects I mentioned, aren't really an indictment on Goku, because he is who he is due to being raised in seclusion for most of his life as a child, with martial arts being the main driver to give his life purpose. Especially in the fact that him getting stronger and time after time has resulted in him saving his friends and the world time and time again, so therefore a reason to always become stronger. We see him grow from a glee, socially unaware, naive child in Dragon Ball to the man we know and love in Z. But in Super, he's just dumb. And I'm saying that knowing there's many questionable moments in Z that some people may argue that Goku is stupid. But there are also countless scenes that shows that he does have a certain level of intellect. For example, when on the way to planet Namek, he manages to repair his damaged spaceship. When he was preparing to fight Cell, Goku instantly realizes the weakness within the grade 3 Super Saiyan transformation, which other characters that aren't shown to really be dumb like Trunks totally was oblivious to and didn't even think of. Goku also fights Cell first as a strategy to help Gohan analyze and learn how Cell fights, even though he does follow this action up with some very odd choices to say the least. But overall, the main goal he kind of wanted to do was to teach the next generation to fend for themselves and learn how to save the Earth without him, which I'd say in the long haul is a smart thing to do. So in all, he does show he's no complete dummy. But in Super, in almost all scenes barring some of the serious fight sequences, he just appears as a childlike goofball. And don't get me wrong, in Dragon Ball Z, Goku many times exhibits silly moments, but they aren't that constant. In Super, it seems like they are more frequent than not. It's basically like you see Goku's full-grown body, but they've put like child Goku from Dragon Ball's personality in it. So it just doesn't have like a right mesh. That gleeful, naive Goku made sense in Dragon Ball because he was a child. Whereas when you see him as a full-grown adult, especially when you think of it as coming after Z, it just seems like a complete shift. As the things he does, considering he's gone through so much at this point, through Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, it's so distant from his character, from things such as him virtually almost risking all the universes with Zeno, Goku headbutting the yellow bear, Batama, whatever his name is, when Vegeta tells him to use his head. Little things like that just seem absolutely silly. Other silly instances like Goku not knowing what a kiss is.
What was that, Trunks? You put your mouth on hers. That's so weird. Is that like something people do?
Or one of the moments I personally feel like was one of the stupidest one was him not realizing that Beerus was dressed up and fighting him. I think when he was dressed up as, was it Monarca? That whole bit just made me think, okay, they've officially made Goku as dumb as dirt. Goku in Dragon Ball Z would never, ever exhibit any of these levels of stupidity and naivete. You know what I mean? Imagine like Frieza putting on an outfit and fighting Goku and him not knowing. So this brings us on to the question as to why has this happened? And this now is going to be just my personal speculation. I think is due to the new consumers and fans they are trying to appeal to. And again, this may be my bias, but I feel like maybe due to the rise of this short attention span of kids, they are just trying to pander to that with this non-stop goofy and really jokey dialogue. That mixed with wanting to mix back in more of the roots of Dragon Ball with a more simple and light-hearted, goofy tone to the series. You can kind of tell this with like certain callbacks they do. For example, when Goku mentions that Bulma's boobies are saggy now.
Explain yourself right now!
Look, I wouldn't come here just to see her boobies. Yours are too saggy now.
You know what I mean? Like back in the day, there was also some kind of little jokey things in Dragon Ball where they had similar things like Goku calling Bulma's chest a butt or something. So in the history of Dragon Ball, It's not like Goku's never been a little bit goofy, or the series as a whole hasn't had a light-hearted nature. The main problem with this is that all made sense when Goku was a child and the whole series was around like the characters when they were younger. However, as a grown-ass man, it just seems super odd. When it comes to which one was the best, I feel like Dragon Ball Z was the best of both worlds. It managed to balance in the fun and loving nature of Dragon Ball while keeping grounded with the more serious plot points that Z had. Also, Goku knew when to be serious in life-threatening situations. He also had witty combat lines.
I guess name calling is your only attack, because you're too weak to challenge me any other way.
Throughout this video, I've really been focusing on the character flaws with this Goku, but something else not to overlook is Goku has unfortunately lost his impressive stature. In Z, Goku was really impressive to the point where they had to constantly invent ways to take him out of the story. They done this in the Saiyan arc when they sent him on that trip to King Kai's planet. They done it on the Namek arc. They've done it in the Android arc, and so on and so on. Taking him out of the story is a fundamental plot of the show purely because when his entrance came, it made it that much more exceptional. When Goku came, we used to know that something was going to happen. Whether he'd win or whether he'd lose, we don't know for sure, but we knew that an appearance of Goku meant that some monumental moments would happen.
I'm gonna slap some sense into you!
Each time he used to appear, he'd learn a new really good skill. Things like Kaioken, the Spirit Bomb, instant transmission. There's various things that Goku used to just do when he came back, and we knew that, oh my god, that's pretty dope. And as I said, even when it came to the battles, even though most of the times we'd assume he'd win, even if he didn't, we just knew that it would end up being some dope moment to look back on. But now that Goku's always around, his appearance is just less impactful. So overall, it feels like he's no longer the Goku we know and loved in Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, in essence, people, let me know what your thoughts are down below. This is my first video on Dragon Ball on the channel, so let me know what your thoughts are. Anyways, feel free to subscribe if you're brand new here, and I'll see you in a new video. Peace.